Welcome back to Farming Simulator 2019 with the Rude Man. And we're back on Simon Farms, and if you'll notice, things look a little different. It is now spring. I did put seasons in. I went back to that farm that I was telling you about, and I didn't like what was going on with seasons on it. Not seasons, but the precision farming was not working correctly. So what I did was I reset this farm. Now, when they ask you to reset it for seasons, they just reset the fields. All the other stuff we've done is still there. I still own all the fields. The ones that have been prepared are still prepared. The ones that were seeded in the last episode, I'm going to have to do something with because I had to reset them. So all that canola is gone. Now, if you'll notice that the precision farming part is still there. There's just a slight difference. The crops that I put on there have been harvested. That's what it did when it reset them. It harvested them, and it sets it back to pretty much a fallow field. The ones that I haven't worked yet, though, are still as I left them. The only difference is when it resets them, it reset them to, if you look in the lower right-hand corner where the field information is, it shows you that the pH level is perfect because the lime is there. The nitrogen is whatever the nitrogen is from the last crop that we had. But that now we've got something new. We've got before, previous, and previous. So the previous field was fallow because that's what it did. It reset it to being fallow. So there was no crops on it for that season. Then the season before that is also fallow. That pretty much just resets the farm to a fallow state, except for what I just did. This needs to be cultivated because there's stubble on it. Other than that, the fields that I had are ready to go. They're completely ready to go. I just need to cultivate the fields that I worked in the last episode. So we're going to do that, and it's going to set it back to fallow. Now, we've got work to do to prepare for seasons, and that I have to come up with crop rotation. I won't be able to seed anything right now because the temperature, well, no, wait a minute. It's early spring. The temperature's 42. I could actually seed like winter wheat right now, or spring wheat, whichever it is. Because if you look at that, we're going to do, let's see, is it Alt-S? We're going to do Alt-S. Here's our calendar. We're in early spring. I should have it set for 9-day season length. Season introductions is on. It's in Fahrenheit. Crop moisture's on. I don't know whether to leave that or not, so I'll leave it for now. Snow tracks is on. Snow mode is on. Crop damage scale is 50, but I don't have crop damage turned on, so I don't know what to do about that. Weed intensity scale is 20. This is all default. I'm going to leave that the way it is. We can look at the calendar. We're in the first 3 days. So there's 9 days in a season, and it's broke up into 3 parts. We're in day 1 of the first 3 parts of the season. And again, over here, the same thing. Summer is 3 seasons, and fall is 3 seasons, and then winter, of course, is 3 seasons. So these are the temperatures of which that you can seed. Wheat takes 41. Barley's the same. Oats is 43. It needs a little bit warmer. Cotton, 64. We don't have that kind of geo in this map, so we won't be able to do cotton at all. Also, with that, we won't be able to do sugarcane because it takes too warm a temperature. Okay, so there's the other crops that we have and the temperatures we need. The green is the planting season, and the yellow is the harvest season. So as you can see, if we're going to do wheat, the cereals that we have to plant in the spring, or you can plant them in the fall, either one. But we can only harvest in the fall. So there you go. If you plant in the fall, that's going to be a crop for the next season. If we plant in the spring, that's going to be a crop for the fall. That's kind of how that works. And then you can see that if we want to do soybeans and sunflowers and corn, that needs to start in late spring or early summer. So we're going to be doing some of that. Let's just take a look at, first of all, let me go back. Yeah, okay. The time is set to normal time. I shouldn't say normal time. It's set to real time. Normal time would be if that was set at 5 and it's set at 1. So that's real time. So if I work for an hour on the field, I'm going to have worked for an hour in real life. Okay? If I set it at 5 and I work for an hour in real time, that's going to be a full day of work in game. So that's going to be I'm going to be switching back and forth on that time. But first of all, let's go back to seasons, and we can see what the weather's going to be like. Cloudy today, and Saturday is going to be sunny, and Sunday sunny. Monday we're expecting rain. Tuesday some more sun, some showers on Wednesday, and sun again. So there's all your information. The temperatures are going to be fine for seeding. These are the what you can expect the seeds to be able to take. If we look down here, the potential for frost damage, increase in air temperature, fall below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So if we look back at the temperature, we're not going to be dropping down below 32 until we get up into the colder season. So green is frost resistant, yellow is somewhat frost resistant, and red is this no-go. Now, I need to do something. Oh gosh, I do need to do something. I have a mod in that has different breeds, but that's built into seasons. So I'm going to have to go out and turn that off. I'll do that in a second. Yeah. So the seasons is going to have different breeds, and I think I can keep the ones I've already selected. It looks like. Then there's your economy, and then this is where we've got some work to do. This is going to be my crop rotation planner. There are only 1, 2, 3, 4 categories that I can use. Well, I have more than 4 fields, so that's going to be an issue. I'll have to figure out how to do that, and I will in a minute. But hang on. I'm going to go out and turn that other mod off. I don't want any problems with mods. Okay, I'm back. So before I get started with the farming part, I'm going to work on the crop rotation. So, well, hang on before I do. I need to decide which fields are going to be what. So let's look at, and I wanted to show you that that if we look at the map here with precision farming, you'll notice that my soil checks are all going to be saved. I didn't lose any of the precision farming that I've done. So it still shows what my soil types are in the fields that I've purchased and have analyzed. So that's all going to be the same. But we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 9 fields here, and I've only got 4 categories for crop rotation. Now, I can use all 4 and just designate fields for that. Or I can just use 1 and then I would have to make sure that everything's one crop. So I would just do, if I did a harvest, every field is going to have the same crop on it. The only other thing I could do would be to maybe designate this bottom half here as category 1, maybe the middle part in here as category 2, and this one is category 3, something like that. I'm going to have to keep records if I did that as to which fields were which. I'm thinking about that, thinking about it. Yeah, I'm going to probably do that for a couple of reasons. So, before I do, let's go in here, and we're going to go to crop rotation. I'm going to set these plans out. So let's start off with, right now we've got fallow fields, completely fallow fields. So we can leave that as fallow. And then, let's not though. Let's do wheat. Okay, now you notice the wheat is 0.86. That means that your yield is going to be 0.86, where 1.0 would be a normal yield. So if you get 1.0, you've got a normal yield. If you get less than 1.0, that's less than normal crop yield. 1.2 would be a bumper crop. It'd be more than you would expect to get. So depending on what you plant, like right now we've got wheat. Now if I go on the next one to fallow, you notice that changes the wheat up to 1.14. And you say, how can you do that? Because the wheat was the first one in the fallow. How could that affect that? Well, it affects it because when you add stuff in here like this is a rotation. You start here and you follow that rotation through to here, and then you start over again. It's a circle. Okay? So anything you do after this is going to affect that. Anything I do here is going to affect that, and all the way down. That's how it works. So let's start off with wheat, and then let's do, well, we could do another cereal, or let's do an oil seed. We'll do canola. And then the next one we're going to do let's do some soybeans. Now you'll notice that wheat is a cereal, canola is an oil seed, soybeans are a legume, like a pea, that kind of thing. Okay, so then the fourth one we're going to do fallow. So we have 3 crops and then no crop. And then we can go back to, say, a barley. And then this one would be say some sunflowers. Okay, so we've only got one, the soybeans, that are going to be below average. That's okay. because we're going to make up for it. So now on rotation B, I don't want it to look the same as this. And I don't want the fallow to be in the same category of all of these, because that means I'll have no crops on the farm at all. So we need to kind of stay away from that. And we don't want wheat. Let's do a canola up here, and then we're going to do, say, a wheat. Okay, so that bumps both of these up, if you noticed. And then let's do a fallow. And then we're going to do, we've got an oilseed and a cereal. Let's try some corn. Okay, that looks good, above average. And then let's do potatoes are considered a nightshade. We'll do potatoes. And then let's just look at something here. We got wheat already, barley, oats. Let's do some oats. Now that's going to drop the oats down to 71, but that's okay. It all evens out. All right, now over here, let's do let's do some soybeans up here. We're going to do fallow. And then let's throw a cereal in, maybe. We can throw some wheat in there. And then see what I'm doing is I'm trying to go something different. So that here we got wheat, canola, and soybeans. Over here there'll be something different. Canola, wheat, fallow. Soybeans, fallow, wheat. See what I'm doing? And then let's do, we've got corn here. Let's do an oil seed. I'm trying to mix it up, is what I'm doing. We'll do sunflowers. And then see, that does boost it up. And then we got fallow, wheat. We're going to do let's do some more corn. And here we're going to do a fallow again. So we'll have two fallows in this one. But see, we've got fallow, crop, and fallow again. And then over here, let's start with some corn. And, no, let's start with the fallow. Okay, and then let's do some corn. All right, and then we got soybeans, fallow, wheat. Let's do some canola. And we've got corn, sunflowers, and let's do a grain. Let's do barley. Well, we're looking good here. So we got corn, canola, barley, and another fallow. And then, yeah, see, we don't have a fallow in here. And then we do have a fallow here, so let's do sunflowers, oats, fallow. We don't have a cereal. We could do wheat again. There we go. So this is what I'm going to have. And if you notice that most of the crops are fairly good. We've got one that's below average there. That's average. There's one that's below average there. And that's all good. And this is all good. So we're looking pretty good. And if you look this way, we don't have the same crops on any of it. And the fallows are all spread out so that we don't have, a half a dozen fields producing absolutely nothing. Now what I have to do is decide how I'm going to spread this out. So I've got 4 rotation plans, but I have more than 4 fields. So I need to get a piece of paper. We're going to mark this down with the fields that I've got. Let's do this bottom part here. We'll call this A. So 34 and 35 are plant A. All right. So 23, 24, and 19, we'll call these B. So 19, 24, and 23 is B. And 21 and 22 we'll call C. And then 18 and 20 will be D. So that's how we're going to do that. Now that may change because I may buy some more fields and then we'll have to redistribute that. What we could do though is we could actually carry it over this way, like left to right. So let's say I bought 17, and 17 would be considered oh my God, 17 is huge. 17 could be one of its own. But over here though, let's say 25 would go with 18 and 20. 28 would go with, say, 19, 24, and 23, and then this one would go. So this would be A, this would be B, and this would be C maybe, or D. I'll figure that out. I don't want to get too carried away here. So, okay, so now that we've got that settled, I need to find my cultivator and clean those fields up. So let's see, there's probably somebody in the cultivator already. Let's drop rows here for now, and we'll jump in. Where's my cultivator? Anybody know where my cultivator went? No. Uh-oh. I don't know where my cultivator went. I wonder if I didn't keep it. Oh, there it is. Never mind. I found it. Now I'm going to be trading out for some big equipment because when I started out I got smaller equipment because I only had 1 or 2 fields. So now that I've got half of the map, I'm going to trade out for some bigger equipment. Let me wash this real quick because it's dirty. And let's start off with this other field up yonder and get it cultivated. Things look a little bit funny, don't they? I mean, look at what happens when you do this. The trees lost their leaves and everything looks brown, and doesn't it feel cold? Because it kind of is. My 2 favorite pieces of equipment in their category. That's my favorite tractor, and that's my favorite cultivator. Now I'm hoping that once I cultivate that ground is going to keep its pH level, but I don't know that for sure. The cultivation might be wiping out my pH level. In real life it shouldn't, but this is not real life, it's a game. And things don't always work out that way. I'm lucky I ran out of time in the last episode, so I didn't get that field finished. That's a big field. And that's the one I was working on. Yeah, the the seasons, it makes it look cold and dreary, doesn't it? No leaves on the tree and the grass is dead, and it's just funny. And before you say anything, I know that I said I'd never do seasons. I'll tell you, I've done some thinking about it. I wanted to do something different that I haven't done before, so that's when I started doing this kind of a realistic, more realistic type thing with the precision farming, and then the seasons. Farm Sim 22 is going to have seasons built in. And so I thought, well, okay, fine. I'll get used to seasons and I'll try it and see how it works. And now the Farm Sim 22, they're not calling it seasons. They call it climate something. It's I can't remember precisely what they're calling it, but they're not calling it seasons because they don't want it confused with the mod. It's their thing now, and they don't want it confused with the mod. So, and yes, you can turn it off. Even in Farm Sim 22, if you don't want to use seasons, you don't have to. But since it's going to be there and be part of the game, I decided that maybe I should start playing the mod and kind of figure it out, get used to it, and so that I can at least know how it works. Even though it may not work exactly the same in Farm Sim 22, it's still going to be there. It's going to be part of the game, and there's going to be a number of people that are going to be using it. So I decided, okay, fine, I'll bite the bullet and stop complaining about seasons and say how much I hate it. The real reason I hated it is I didn't know anything about it. I didn't want to learn. Selfish of me, I know. Alright, let's see if I can hire Andy to work this out for me. Okay. And it's 45 degrees out. If I wanted to seed, I guess I can. So let's look at the, who's this? Rose? Okay, Rose isn't doing anything. Let's grab Rose and put her in the John Deere here. And if we're looking at fields, let's look at the field down below. Look at the grass is just dead. I guess that's kind of cool, really. Okay, so that bottom part needs to be worked with the cultivator, so I'm going to skip that for now. We're going to go into this middle part here. So this would be rotation B. And let's see what rotation B calls for. I might not be able to use it. So, rotation B, whoops, wrong menu. Rotation B is here. It's going to be starting off with canola. Now, canola needs to be 41 degrees, which it is. So I can actually plant canola. Let's switch from soybeans, though. Alright, so we're switched to canola. Let's look at the field. And we're at perfect pH. That's good. Perfect pH. Let's see what we got here. All right, now let's see. This is a new piece of equipment for me here, I think. So let's. I know this isn't my field, but I'm looking at something here. All right, so let's turn the GPS on. Do this. I'm pretty sure I don't have the John Deere. I do not. Okay. So let's jump up here. Turn this on. We need to set the auto width. Set A. Did that set A? I don't see it. Okay. Auto width on. Set A. Please create field or load track first. Huh? Okay. Auto width. Turn that off. Line method AB, set A. I don't see the A. Oh, it's going the other damn way. Oh, I see. I hate when it does that. All right. Let's rotate it. A, B, set A. Did it set it? I think it did. Set B. Okay, that looks like it worked. All right, so then let's go back in, and we're going to do seed John Deere DB 120, and add that. Make sure that we are selecting that. All right, this is going to help. The reason this helps, especially with this piece of equipment, is this piece of equipment is so damn wide that you can't see from end to end on it. So the GPS is going to help us because it's going to let us run without being able to see the end of the stupid piece of equipment. All right, let's do this right here. I'm going to set the GPS, turn the seeder on, see how far I can get into this field. I'm hitting the trees. Damn it, hitting the trees. Okay, now let me run around here. Uh-oh. See, I can't see the end of the equipment. I don't want to run into that other field because I think it's going to be a different rotation. Now I have to laugh because this farm might be a different geo than the farm I was playing before because the weather seems a little warmer on this one. The one I was playing before that I told you wasn't set up correctly, the weather was cooler. I had to wait till almost the end of spring to get anything above 41 degrees. Alright, I don't want to get into that other field. So where's the end of my equipment? I should have probably used the smaller seeder so I didn't have that problem. All right. I think that field, yeah, those fields are going to be in the same rotation category, so I should be okay. It's just the one above me there that I was going to have a problem with, I think. So, yeah, I think this is going to be fine. I'm going to go ahead and do that tip right there. And we're going to run this way. Dead grass. Funny. Funny, funny, funny. Good thing about this mod is that one little tip, that wing on the end, does not have collision on it. So just the one little tip there, that tip that you can't see because it's too wide for the monitor, does not have collision on it. That helps out a little bit when you're doing stuff like this. Now, if I don't, I just have to remember to where I wrote that information down if I want to keep my crop rotations continuing on in the future. I wrote them in a book that I keep a lot of passwords and stuff in. Isn't that something? They got you now that you have to change passwords so often on all your stuff. And if you use your computer at all, you know you've got dozens of things that require passwords now. Dozens, if not more. And they all want different passwords, and they want them to be complicated. And so how do you remember all of those if you don't write them down? And isn't writing them down a little counterproductive to having a password? If somebody gets your little book, they've got everything you got. It's crazy. But anyway, yes, I do have a book that's got some passwords in it. Now, I did buy a program. I bought a program called NordPass. It's part of NordVPN and all that kind of stuff. It's called NordPass, and what happens is when you go to a place that they ask you to create a password, it creates a password that you no way could ever remember. It's like 15 characters of capitalized letters and numbers and I mean, it's random. It's just random, and you could never remember it. So, but it remembers it for you. So what you do is you create an account that requires a password. One password. You decide what that one password is. Then from that point on, whenever you go to a new site and it says create a password, it creates a password so long and complicated that you'd never remember it without writing it down. And the thing is, it keeps track of it for you on the cloud or wherever it keeps it. And all you have to remember is the one password to open up the program. Once the program is opened up, it knows what site you're going to and what the password is. So there you go. So I've got these real complicated passwords now, and I only have to remember one password to get to them. Handy dandy. And so the book, we started talking about a book. So the only passwords I have in the book now are ones that I haven't converted over to NordPass. So now what the book holds is not the passwords. The book actually keeps track of the username, because you still have to have your username. Now, I don't know about you, but my username doesn't stay the same either. So, okay, now hang on. Before I go any further, let me look at that crop rotation again. Okay, this is the same, 34 and 35. 19, 24, and 23 are the same. 19. 21 is different. 21 and 22 are different. So I don't want to go into 21, 22. 23 is the same. Okay, so these two fields are going to be different right here. So good thing I didn't go any further. Uh-oh, what did I just do? I hit the tilde. So that field is different than the rest of them. So I'm glad I didn't go into that one. So I'm going to have to do these a little bit different here. I'm going to work into this one. And carry on from there. That's going to be a little iffy, but that's okay. We'll keep track of it. And you know, if we mess up on the rotation, it's not a life or death situation. We'll get a crop. We just might not get the crop we were looking for as far as yields and stuff, because that rotation is particular to that to the yields and stuff. So if I goof up and seed one that's in the different rotation, I just might not get the yield that I was expecting. All righty. And with that, I think I'm going to end the episode here. I hope you had fun. And I hope that you join me in the next episode. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and have fun playing games. Ta-ta for now.